Welcome to the struggle. All right, so we're going to get this started anyway. Welcome to the Every.Thing.After podcast. We are doing our first in-person podcast recording. We are in the Speakeasy Coffee Shop in downtown Canal Fulton, Ohio, for this second season of the show. And we have a very special guest with us here, Mr. Andy Bors.
Hello. Super stoked to be here.
We're so excited to have Andy here. Andy is a Ohio born and bred musician from Bolivar, correct?
Yeah. I grew up in Canton, and then I lived down in Bolivar in Little T County for what about the past? I want to say 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
Heck yeah, a little bit of a transplant, you know. I still say Canton's my hometown, but I love Bolivar. It's great down there.
And Andy, you play a lot of local venues. You've been in several bands. You're going to play some music for us later. Let's talk a little bit about that musical history of yours. Tell me how you got started.
Oh man, yeah, okay. So we'll walk it all the way back, dude. When I was very young, so probably I think I was 5 or 6, because it was the year that Dude Ranch Blink-182 came out. I think that was 96 or 97. And my parents bought me one of those really cheap acoustic guitars, little 6-stringers. And so it's worth mentioning as well that I write left-handed. I throw a ball left-handed. A lot of shit I did up until, I don't know, 6th grade, I did left-handed. So my parents bought me a guitar, little one. It was a right-handed guitar. So immediately just am not comfortable. I don't understand what's going on. Didn't really have any inkling to play either. It ended up breaking and got thrown in the trash. And then probably a year or two later, or maybe a few years later, but I remember being at the pool during the summer, right when Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182 came in. And hearing Mark Hoppus's bass lines, there was something that struck me about the tone of his precision bass. More so than the electric guitar, more so than the drums. It was the first time that I was holy shit, dude, bass guitar rips, and I want to learn how to do that. So this would have been the summer before 6th grade, I think. And my mom ordered me a left-handed bass off a musician's friend. And I remember being so fucking stoked the night before it came. And it was supposed to be here. And then it turns out it was back ordered. So they didn't even have it in stock. And dude, my life, I was so bummed out, right? And so my mom ends up calling around all these music shops. I know, shout out Peach, dude. Love her, rest in peace. And so then we end up going to Canton Music Center and talking to their owner, Daryl, also rest in peace. And so I know, right, dude, dropping like flies, man. But he's like, hey, come here real quick. Shake my hand. So I shook his hand. And he went to talk to my mom, and he was like, hey, I know that your son's left-handed. He wants to play left-handed bass. It's worth mentioning that when I asked him to walk towards me, he led with his right foot. When I asked him to shake my hand, he stuck his right hand out. He might be ambidextrous, and I think he'd be good with a right-handed bass. However many years later, I'm just floored at how fucking good of a sales tactic that was, but it was also very true, right? I learned bass right-handed, and I can't play guitar left-handed at all now. So I play all guitar right-handed, bass right-handed, drums right-handed. I can't do anything really except throw a ball and write left-handed.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So once I kind of figured that out, I started playing. I guess the first serious band I was in 8th grade with my buddy Mike and my buddy Tom, my buddy Miles, and my buddy Mike's sister Katie. And we ended up having a show. We essentially lobbied our middle school principal with a VHS tape and our parents' coercion into letting us play a show the last day of 8th grade.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so I think during recess or some shit like that, the whole 8th grade gathered and we played Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, that's great.
And we played Sweet Child of Mine.
You must have been the coolest kid in 8th grade.
I sure was, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh
It was unreal because I remember that whole time, growing up watching these drive-through records, DVDs that my mom bought me from Quonset Hut. They got me into all the pop punk that I still listen to this day. And so then that led into okay, we're going into 9th grade, playing in little bands and stuff. I remember being in ninth grade and playing in the band Forest Hill with my buddies Dylan and Jay. We played this seventh grader's birthday party, and
Oh.
we covered "We Are All on Drugs" by Weezer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was great. It was so punk rock, dude. It was sick. And then after that, I was in a band. The first, I guess, serious band that I joined that like played shows and stuff. I was like 16. We were called Box the Stars. We were together for like a few years, kind of like a pop punk emo screamo kind of thing, and that was a lot of fun. We got to play Warped Tour. We got to play some bigger shows, and then after that, I played in a band called Promise Me Scarlet. I played guitar for them for a little bit, and then a larger band that I was in locally for like 8 or 9 years was called 40s, and that was my first branch off into like not pop punk or emo music. It was like it had a more mature sound. Definitely sounded kind of a lot like the Strokes and pulled influence from like older music. And that was a lot of fun. We got to play South by Southwest my senior year in high school. We got to play in Tennessee. We got to play all over Ohio. And so then from there, I think we disbanded, like 2013. And right around that time is when I kind of started doing like all the solo stuff. I had all these ideas and I didn't have an output for them. And so I just started writing stuff and I just started playing. It started as like very, very electronic dance music kind of stuff. And then I would like sing over top of it, play over top of it. And I got my start doing that, just like the Oracle in downtown Canton, at Buzzbin in downtown Canton.
Great.
And then, that kind of morphed over time. And then back in what, I think 2017 or 2018, I joined the band Divorce Horse, which is like my main project now that involves other people, And I've played with like Scott Paris. I got to play bass in the Paris Accord for like several shows. Played guitar with the boys in Hey Monet for several shows. So I was just like a hired gun as well. And that's a ton of fun because it's unreal, just the concentration of outstanding music, even in just like Northeast Ohio. Not even, so you could get rid of Cleveland and you could even get rid of Akron. Not to say that there's not amazing music coming out of both those places, but even the music south of Akron to like New Philly, dude. There's so many insane musicians.
Wow.
And it's so cool to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form,
Wow.
It's so much fun.
That's great.
Yeah, it's sick. It's a lot of fun. I'll hop in anywhere, like play bass, play guitar, whatever, And there's a dude named Ron Flack who owns like Real Gray Studios in Canton. Him and this other woman named Anya Van Rose, who's also a phenomenal musician. They've fostered just like the sickest community of musicians and people that are just kind of collaborating and recording and featuring on each other's stuff and like, oh, I need a bass player for this track. And they have like a network of people they can reach out to.
That's great.
And it's cool to see that kind of stuff thriving. Cause like, I mean, back in high school, churches and really that's it was like the move, like we would pack churches out with like hundreds of kids. Bethel Temple at Malone, Java House out in Jackson Friends Church, River Tree Christian Church, First Friends Church. And there was like an insane scene back then. And then it just died, And it's really cool to kind of see it like bubbling back up through the cracks. I'd say like the past 5 years. It's like a cool thing to be a part of for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, Andy, that's really incredible. I'd love to hear you talk a little bit more about just how vital you think it is to, as a musician starting out. I mean, think about when you were starting out. You've been in the game for a little while now. You've made all these connections and stuff, but just how vital is it to have that community around you and everything, to be able to, like you said, just sort of jump in where play with this band, play with that band for a while. You got several projects going on at the same time. I mean, is that what it takes to kind of make it right now?
That's a really good question. And I think it depends on how you define the term make it. Like, so for me personally, and for anybody that's just starting out, I think that putting yourself in a community of people who are like-minded and that are all in search of pursuing the same goal is like an incredibly powerful thing when the competition is taken out of it. Yeah. Which is to say, like, I've never wanted to become famous making music. For me, it's always intrinsically been this thing that it's like, I've just had so much trauma in my life from such a young age. And I've never, like, up until a year ago, I'd never taken a guitar lesson or anything. It was just something that, like, the universe bestowed onto me because I needed it. And it allowed me to transmute really negative shit into my life into something that people can communicate with and something that could hopefully help someone else through the same thing. And so, with that being said, my entire MO in making music is the community aspect behind it. Is like the strengthening of bond between like shared trauma, or even just celebrating the positive in life, the inherent things that we might miss on a day-to-day basis. And so in a community like Rio Grey, like the first Monday of every month, they do this shit at the Oracle. It's called Bring Your Song.
Yeah.
And to your point, dude, they have done an insane job at fostering that community. So the entire concept is this. There's a featured artist. So like February of last year, I was the featured artist. Featured artist gets to go record a free song at Rio Grey. So they get like an insane studio experience. And then they'll play like 4 or 5 songs, and then it's like an open mic. So you can sign up. They'll close signups after however many people. You'll go up, you'll play your song at every table in the place. So they say it's a listeners event, right? It's a songwriter circle, but it's a listeners event, and there are note cards with Sharpies and pens. And so when you go up, you can ask if you're looking for critiques, if you're looking for advice, or if you're not looking for anything. People will just write the kindest things down. Like I still have all of my note cards from the Bring Your Songs that I've done, like stuffed away. And whenever I'm feeling like I've hit a plateau or whatever, like I'll read them, dude. And it's like incredibly powerful in that regard, just to have people in the same room being present while you share yourself, I think is incredibly powerful for anybody new starting out. And just being able to be vulnerable and be able to suck, like I think is necessary too, because there's this, I think, lingering problem that pervades more than just music. It pervades like every facet of modern living. And it's that we want everything instantaneously.
Yeah.
And so we'd rather create 500 songs on Suno for $30 a month than get calluses and learn how to play chords, you know? But like those calluses saved my life. And I think they will for somebody else too. And so I think it's like, if you stick with it and view it as a meditation, don't view it as something to be conquered, view it as something that you can let change you. Like, then you'll have the fucking best experience ever, dude. You know? I mean, I've been playing bass since 6th grade, and I still, like, I have to pull myself away from my instruments. You know what I mean? Or else I just, like, won't spend time with my fiance, or I won't go to work. I'll be in my fucking basement writing tracks all the time. And so when you can fall in love with it like that, dude, it's like the best shit ever.
Yeah. It's like breathing, right? It's like,
100%. Yes. Very much so.
That's good advice, too. Thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah. For sure. And I think also, you know, part and parcel to that is that there are going to be like long phases of suck. There were times in like my musical whatever, especially starting out, dude, the bass line that sticks out to me is Rearranged by Limp Bizkit. And there's just like a real simple thing. It's called a hammer on and pull off. It's like a pretty simple technique. And for years before I learned what that was, like I didn't know how he was doing that.
Yeah.
And then when I learned the technique, I was like, holy shit, that's so much easier than I thought. And so I think like all the while you're building skill, you're just not cognizant, and those changes are minute, so they're not perceptive on like a daily basis. But dude, you stay the fucking course, and like pretty soon you're gonna be like, oh my god, dude, like I'm riffing on Metallica right now. That's so sick. You know, and I think it's worth it. So yeah, even if you can't get it right away, it doesn't matter. That's just that's a negative feedback loop fucking with you. Just keep at it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Andy, I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that, you know, on a podcast where we talk to musicians about their art, therapy comes up quite a bit. Music is therapy. Music is, you know,
for sure,
what keeps us grounded. And I've heard several people say that music saved my life, right? I mean, that's just, it seems like such a common thing among musicians, is that it plays a really big part in your mental health, and it plays a really big part, you know, and sort of your arc, I guess, as a person, right?
100%.
So I'm kind of curious about, you know, I love talking to people that write their songwriters, singer-songwriters. I'm just so in awe at your talent to tell a story through music. And I wonder if you tell me a little more about your songwriting process and how that's evolved. I mean, can you remember sitting down and writing that first song? Like, how did it come out of you? And like how has it sort of changed over the years?
That's a really good question, dude. So I immediately harken back to one of my best friends, Kyle McMaster. His parents' basement, like across from the old Diano like ready mix concrete facility and just writing the shittiest songs on our bass and guitar. And I want to say back then, dude, like it's very much that the music would come first, and then the music would invoke a feeling, and then I would put lyrics to that feeling that I thought those lyrics invoked.
Yeah.
So it kind of started like that, and then maybe once I was like 19, 20, 21, maybe I started writing a lot of poetry. I would get into just these mindsets, dude, for hours, and I would just write a bunch of stuff, just like I needed to get it out of me. And I never really did that before, but I would just write pages and pages and pages and pages. And then I would kind of look back at them and like read through them, and maybe like there'd be 4 lines that would stick out. And I would just be like, "Oh shit, dude, that's a chorus,"
Oh,
you
wow.
know. And so then from there, the words would invoke something.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was like it made me stoked or whatever. And so I'd sit down and I'd like play something in a major key, but like it wasn't like super happy. So I'd kind of change it from there, and I would kind of tailor the chords or whatever in the progression to the words. So that's happened a lot before as well. So it's definitely evolved. Like when I was younger, it was absolutely like the music always came first.
That's interesting.
And I think a lot of that too was I played in bands where I wasn't the primary songwriter before I started kind of writing my own material. And so a lot of the times we're just jamming and I'm writing a bass line. And then after the song's written, then the singer of whichever band that is would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, check this out." We'd either record the instrumental on like our old shitty cameras at the time, listen to it afterwards. And so I think just because that was the environment that I was in, that's kind of how it started. These days, I mean, there was like, one time after my mom passed away, I was sitting in my kitchen and we have like this little island and like our backyard's wooded and it's so sick. Like, and so I was just looking out at all these like logs and stuff and this song just spilled out of me. And it was just written about thinking about decomposition and like the cycle of life and like these logs rotting and like the mushrooms growing on top of them. And it was just like, sometimes it comes together like that, and then in 25 minutes, dude, I have one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Oh.
And then some of the tracks, so I have like a 40-track album that I put out, and it's on like streaming services worldwide. It's called Life is Peachy Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes.
And so 3 or 4 of the tracks that are on that were tracks that were 13 years in the making.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Songs I started writing when I was 19 that I sent out to have mixed and mastered by Dave Kaplinger at Soothsayer Audio, a month before those came out in 2021. Wow. And so that's what's crazy too, is that like I think there's something beautiful in like there's this constant pressure if you're trying to make it as like an artist, right? And it's like, okay, fuck. I gotta post on my socials. I have to post at these times. I gotta vary the content a little bit so that I get enough engagement to like get pulled into the algorithm. And so that same sort of like checklist, I feel like a lot of artists follow in their music. We're gonna do a single release right now, promo push for that, have another single come out in like maybe 2-3 months, like the album format's dead. And I think that's all bullshit. Like I think you should just make the art that you want to make. And I feel like if I felt the need to like get these songs out, or if I felt the need to hit a deadline, some of my best works I think would have fallen to the wayside. Yeah. So like the one track that's out of all endless possible combinations, that's like one of my favorite things I've ever done. And that song morphed like 5 or 6 times before it came out. And then the one I did was Jean P the MC, Throw Your Hands in the Air. Same thing, dude. Those 2 were like the oldest ones I had. And it was when I used to go, my old moniker was Ducky. And I wrote those back when I went as Ducky. So like way early on. And to see them kind of come to life, dude, and be fully imagined how I want them is so sick. Because if I wouldn't have just like held onto them and kept them in my back pocket, like that never would have happened,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's really incredible. I that piece you said about like a song morphing, like various versions of it and everything. Like, I think that's really interesting too. Have you ever wanted to revisit something that you've released and George Lucas the bitch or whatever?
Oh, dude, all the fucking time. Yeah, I mean, like Yes, dude, absolutely. And I think one of the reasons I released this 40 track album is specifically to combat against that. So, because I think what happens for me is that, I mean, dude, I have hundreds of songs I haven't released.
Yeah.
And I think my problem is that I just keep stockpiling instead of ever doing anything with them. And so what I have to ask myself is why? Why do I do that? I enjoy the songs. I go back to them and listen to them all the time. I think they're sick. I'll bump them. Why don't I release them? You know what I mean? And so I think like I have like another 30 demos that I'm working on right now. And what I really want to do sooner than later, hopefully like maybe let's say springtime, is I want to put out like a mixtape almost. Where some of and it's all going to flow. And I actually just had like a listening session at Real Great earlier in January with a bunch of my good buds that all make music, and we listened to it. And my one friend John King said, there's a through line through all this. Find out what that line is, and like, it's okay that some of these ideas are like contrast one another, because as like a mixtape or like this disparate thing, I think it's like a really cool idea. So I want to start doing stuff like that more and just getting it out there, because all the time, man, that's my problem. Is that until the point of release, I will endlessly tinker.
Yeah.
When I don't need to, and I think that's just a trap a lot of musicians, a lot of artists in general fall into. Is just like that last percent of a track, dude. I mean, it's like the ever increasing mile. You just got to know when it's like when you got to call it.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, this represents who I was at a point in time. This is fallible music. It's never going to be perfect because I inherently am not. And like, that's okay. So like, put it out and enjoy it for what it is.
Andy, bring back the mixtape, man. I'm glad you called it.
It's going to happen, dude. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
For sure.
How do you get that vibe? It's got to feel like, I remember making mixtapes like used to be. You remember, like the only way sometimes
He's younger than we are.
you wouldn't go buy an album. You wouldn't necessarily go buy, like if you wanted a song, you'd listen for it on the radio.
Yeah, dude. Rock 1069, dude. Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Hit that record button,
100%.
Song, you build a mixtape a song at a time, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it represents like, a period of time. And bring back that vibe. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about revisiting songs. So we went to see last summer Ryan Adams touring, and a controversial music figure, of course. How do you feel about it? One of the things that I thought was really interesting about it is that he's almost sort of touring albums that he wants to say goodbye to. Like he like recorded something 30 years ago, and he's like, I'm going to tour this album one time.
Yeah.
Play these songs one more time. Like, all these different venues. I'm going to get them out of my system, and then I'm never going to play them again. Have you ever felt like that about a song? Have you ever felt like revisiting a song? Is it because it does represent at the time of your life? Is it ever painful for you? Are there any songs that you want to say goodbye to that you would never want to play again? Because obviously some of them are painful, right? They have to be. They're rooted in pain.
Oh, for sure. So I mean, the number one track when you had me list like the 12 songs, the number one song, I can play maybe 10% of the time without crying. And it's just because that song, I played that song just learning it 2 days after my mom died.
Yeah.
And the whole song is about this girl becoming sober and learning that like she didn't love herself. And it's learning how to be slower and learning how in the face of insuperable odds to just like learn to cradle yourself, learning how to hold yourself because no one else can.
Yeah.
And like as much, even when I'm like at home, dude, like I had a show at Lockport on January 18th, and I was practicing that song and I just fucking broke down, but it was cathartic. And so as much as like, I was like, fuck, dude, I want to play this song without crying. When I got to Lockport, I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, this song represents my mom, and I'm going to play it whether I cry or not. And I think that's, like, So to answer your question, there's absolutely painful songs to play or songs that invoke emotions that are less than positive, but like the human experience is less than positive.
Yeah.
And I think like we got to take that into account, you know, because with our blinders on to everything that happens, just on a day-to-day level, like microcosm and macrocosm, you have to appreciate the duality of it all. And I think one of the only reasons that I can cultivate such like a I don't know, a positive understanding of just like being alive is because of all the negative that I've experienced. And so, you know, if there's like a song, I'd like fucking love to never play Brain Stew again by Green Day. But not for really any reason. It's just so easy, and I've played that song for 30 years.
Oh.
So maybe that one.
Okay. Is there a song you've written that you don't ever want to play again?
No, because they all represent a point in time. Even if it's like a song I wrote about someone that's not in my life anymore, like the fact that that sentiment still held for me at a point in time, I think is reason enough. You know, and when performed honestly, like maybe that's not the vibe for me anymore. But that's not to say that it's not for somebody else.
Right.
You know,
It's a great way to look at it. That's excellent. Yeah.
I think more often than not, what happens is that I just forget about the songs that I write before they get old enough that I don't want to play them anymore. Because I'll just write a bunch of shit and maybe I'll lose the recordings or I'll lose the lyrics or whatever. Because I'll sit down and I'll like every couple months I'll make a list of from like my solo shows every original that I have that I've played acoustic, and then every cover, and then I forget about like a dozen every time. So there just has to be so many in here that just because I have ADD, so like I don't write anything down, much to like my dismay all the time. But yeah, I mean, I think I'd play anything, dude. Honestly,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, let's talk about the flip side of that, because music's not all about pain; it's joy too. What's the song that makes you happiest to play? What's the song that just puts a huge grin on your face every time?
Honestly, doesn't even matter lyrical content. Any song where I just get to fucking belt, dude. So like that gets me so. I fucking love singing loud as fuck. Like that's my thing.
That's great.
And I do that way more in bands. When you're solo, like it's not. I don't know, but oh my god, dude! Like Favorite House Atlantic by Coheed, like Anything Story So Far. Those songs are so much fun to sing because they're just energetic and they're so loud. Like I love it. It's great, dude. Because I have a very loud voice, and much to the dismay of my fiance, dude. Like almost every night when we're laying in bed, like I'll be just telling her about my day. She'll be like, "Dude, like, kiddo's trying to sleep. You gotta calm down." But yeah, no, I don't know, man. I mean, so the loud ones are super sick. The ones that are okay, this is like a case by case basis. The songs that are really hard to play that I can nail, when I can do that, that's like the best feeling in the world. It's just that I rarely do that. You know what I mean? It's like I always probably, and even if it might sound good to the people that are listening, in my mind, even if I mess it up a little bit, it's like, dude, throw the food out. It's ruined. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is something I need to work on. It's like not that serious, but yeah, what I think just nailing a hard song is so much fun, dude. Like it just gets me stoked. And then not nailing a hard song though sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. From the audience perspective, I gotta say, like sometimes for us, it's more exciting when you do mess it up just a little bit.
It's like human.
It feels real.
Yeah.
It feels,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It feels authentic. You know,
For sure.
Your voice cracks in a certain way, or you miss the chord or something like that.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it real for us. We dig that.
Hell yeah. Good.
So yeah, don't get flawless, man. Forget flawless. None of us are flawless. We need the flaws too.
Hell yeah.
So don't stress about that too much. I got to talk to you about this just a little bit. The art of naming a band, because you've been in some interestingly named bands.
Oh yeah.
Where's Divorce Horse come from? I love it. I love the way it rings.
So that's a really funny story, dude. So at the time, in the nascent stages of Divorce Horse, the band as it was Mike Mogling on drums, Larry Kennedy on bass guitar, Tucker Parsons on 6-string electric guitar. In that form, they were like an instrumental 3-piece punk band called A Horse with No Name. This would have been I want to say 2017. It was when the Oracle was still on 6th Street in the basement before they moved to the old Burger King. And A Horse with No Name had a show with, I want to say it was the Got It, Need It. It's my buddy Goody's old band. I think that's what band he was in at the time. Or he was there or something. So it's worth mentioning that at the time, I think the bass player divorced with at the time, Larry, he had just finalized his second divorce. I think the guitar player Tucker had been divorced once. The drummer had been divorced once. And so fucking Goody was like, hey, you should call yourselves Divorce Horse. And Larry was like, look, Goody, that's a phenomenal idea, dude. And then it just stuck. It just stuck.
Yeah, that's great.
Heck yeah.
It's always a story.
Right? Oh, 100%.
That's awesome. So you talked a little bit about some of the bands that were influential to you as you were coming up, right? Are there any fictional, like made-for-TV fictional bands that you ever got into? I'm thinking about. I have to bring it up. I before this interview, I watched the new Muppet Show last night.
Okay, dude. Yes.
So,
Yes.
for some reason, like I look at you and you have a very interesting look about you. You're very black. I think you'd be right at home in Dr. Teeth and the Electric Band.
Yeah, that'd be so sick, dude. That would be unreal. That would be insane. And then, dude, I remember like, okay, this was like a fucking B-rate movie from the early 2000s, and it was like roller derby, but like murderous. It was called like rollerball or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So rollerball, dude. There's like there's about to be like there's like a rollerball match in like Tokyo or something, and there's like a band playing.
Yeah.
And I always thought that band was so sick, dude. And I don't even know who it was. I just remember it was like heavy industrial music.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, oh, no way, dude. Yeah, so I would totally be in that band for sure. I'm just waiting on a call, so like anytime.
The rollerball band.
Yes, dude.
That's awesome.
Well, we want to do something else with you that we're trying out this year, and I don't think we brought the wheel in.
Yes,
we?
it's right.
Is it over there?
Yeah.
Can you grab it? So, Andy, I asked you
Oh, yeah, of course, you're
before
okay.
the interview to give me 12 songs that mean something to you.
Yeah.
That you could potentially cover if we put you on the spot.
Here's
we're
the
going to have you put it in front of you so we give you
Okay.
the camera doing it too.
Oh, where should we?
In front, like just hold it here. And,
Heck yeah.
yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna give it a spin.
Okay.
All right.
And we're gonna like land on a number here.
Let's see what we got. We're gonna give it a good one.
What's the
Very satisfying.
Oh, number 3. You remember what the third song is that you?
No, not a clue.
Okay, you gotta look at the list and tell me what the third song is.
For sure.
Let's talk about it.
Let me grab my phone real quick. I will be right back.
So this was a list of 12 cover songs.
This is
That-
a list of songs. I asked Andy for a list of 12 songs that have some meaning to him, and that if someone put him on the spot, he could play it.
Six Sad Little World by Incubus.
Incubus.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
This is my top 3 favorite songs of all time.
All right. Tell us about it. Why is it in the top 3?
A multitude of reasons. I heard this song initially. So this album just turned 22 like yesterday, I think. Six Sad Little World is like a very beautiful, but like, so the verses are super negative. The choruses are very, very positive. The verses, Brandon's talking about somebody who just did him wrong or somebody who is like a net negative on his life. But then in the choruses, he's talking about how the first one, he says, the world is a joke when out of love. It's essentially part of the song reads to me about like in the chorus, he says, the world is a joke when out of love. Please come back to us. You're all of the above. And then another person says, I'm making the choice to be out of touch. And it reminded me of like a conversation with God almost. And being that young when I heard it, that really threw me for a loop. It was kind of the first existential like thought I held about music, just in regards to like it being deeper than about a girl, you know?
Yeah.
And then just hearing, it's a longer song, and in the bridge of this song, I think there's, in my opinion, like the most beautiful guitar solo of all time. And when I was really, really young, I had Incubus Alive at Red Rocks. I wasn't really, really young. I was 13, right? Alive at Red Rocks. They played Red Rocks July 26, 2004. And I watched this DVD front to back countless times. And then they released Look Alive, which was like from a few years later. And in both DVDs, they played Six Sad Little World. And they change it into like this 15-minute epic where like they turn the lights down low and like Brandon's like shining a spotlight on the crowd. And it just turns into this like ethereal moment where it became like a spiritual thing for me, where it became so much bigger than these dudes on stage playing these notes with their wooden sticks. It became this thing that like changed my entire life. And then I got to experience them playing that live in Cleveland like a few years after that. And I've seen Incubus a bunch of times, and it was the only time they've played that song in particular. And it's just always been like unreal, dude. It's always just been so good.
It's really cool. You want to play it for us?
I'd fucking love to.
Yes.
So what's your top song? So this was number 3. Was this an order of favorites?
So kind of, they were in order of like impactfulness. The first one was that Waxahachie song Fire that I learned right after my mom passed away. And then, I mean, there's just a bunch of ones on here. Like there's one called Autography by The Starting Line. And it's just about being young and in a band and like putting in your dues to make it happen.
Oh.
And that always like ripped. So I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We got a little Six Sad Little World by Incubus. Never had a day comes with times. It's more than I would care to explain. But I have opened up policy when it comes to playing. The world is a joke when not alone. Please come back to us. You're all of the above. I'm making the choice to be out of touch. Leave me be sad, sad, sad. Leave me here, my start craving six sad little world. Leave me here, my start craving six sad little world. No, you're not the first. No, you're not the first one to play. But no, it's the first one to fall apart. You better get careful or you'll compromise everything you are. The world is a joke when now is love. Please come back to us. You're all of the above. I'm making the choice to be out of touch. Leave me be sad, sad, sad. Leave me here in my suffering six sad little world. Leave me here in my suffering six sad little world. know. Hey, thanks.
That was awesome.
I appreciate you guys.
That was sick. That was so
You've got
good.
a great voice. You have so much passion in your voice.
Thank you.
So
that was amazing.
Loved it.
I wish we had a big crowd here. Oh.
Yeah.
The guitar work, you're so good. Right there, back at the end. Oh my god.
Man, that means a lot.
Wow.
One of our favorite things about doing this podcast is the private concerts.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Talented musicians.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you
you
to play one more though.
Of course, spinner again.
We'll play play an original. Play
Okay.
Andy Boer's original.
Let's go, dude. I'm gonna tune down here real quick. So this is the one. It's called "Take the Long Way." This is the one that I wrote. This is for my mom. I wrote it when I was in my kitchen, like staring out into my backyard. And I guess the main gist of the song is just like an observation of life, and then just realizing that it's like that, you know, everybody does everything they can to save a couple bucks, get there a couple minutes faster, lose a couple pounds, network with a couple more successful people. We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, take the long way, dude. Enjoy the time that you have here. Don't rush, because it's not good. You're not gonna, anything you're building towards, you're not gonna be able to take with you. It's all just a construct of a capitalist society. And I understand wholeheartedly well that, like, that's the society that we live in, and so we have to abide by that construct. But just fucking don't sometimes.
Is this on your Life is Peachy album?
No, so I recorded this, actually. I haven't released it yet. I recorded this at Rio Grey Studios. I'll send it to you guys. I have a recording of it. I just haven't released it for whatever
Is this
reason.
one of those ones you're thinking about releasing? Or?
I mean, I fucking should, you know?
Yeah, man.
Alright, it's called Take the Long
Put
Way.
that stuff out in the world,
Yeah.
man.
Staring into the world outside my house. The writing was like silently now. Soon come a human rap with birds on its spores. I'll take what's good back to the curb. I'll spread a little more. It calls my name. And it shakes from me effortlessly the shackles of mundane. Here comes that pouring rain to wash away. Today I miss my peach like hell. There's much I think I'm doing great, and others that I'm not convinced as well. But still I smile. A life where beauty's only found, eyes open, not still living in denial. It took a while. The pain changes and rearranges. It's time you stop putting yourself on trial. In time. Out in the road, I've been wondering which way to go. I've been chosen, but it's been wrestled from my soul. Take the long way. The path I've traveled offers more. When you see it, you will find. Out in the road, I've been wondering which way to go. I've been chosen, but it's been wrestled from my soul. Take the long way. The path less traveled offers more. When you see it, you will find. Moss covered roads on the pitch. Leaf rot from remaining seasons. Begs to people back to scratch an itch of greener days. It's in the song sung by the birds, just a melody, not needing words. I wish the same for us. No, you know, Oh, you know, oh, you know, no, no. And now in the road, I've been wondering which way to go. I've been chosen, but it's been wrestled from my soul. Take the wrong way. The path less traveled offers more when you see it. You will find out in the road. I've been wondering which way to go. I've been chosen. It's been wrestled from my soul, take the long way. The path less traveled offers more when you see it. You will find peace inside your core. In the road, just wondering which way to go. I've been chosen. It's been wrestled from my soul, take the long way. The path less traveled offers more when you see it. You will find. Thanks, dudes. What's up, you guys? My name is Andy Bors, and my everything after is unidentified anomalous phenomena.